Hey YouTubers, how you doing? If you like my videos at all, I know that some of them are okay, but like and subscribe, you know. But anyways, I know you're supposed to say at the end of the video, but I didn't want to forget. Okay, but I was actually thinking, you know, the Bible. Let's say, obviously it's a book, but I've read a lot of books. The Bible is a very different book, and I'll tell you this: a lot of people say it was written by God. Some people say it was written by man. But I believe if it was written by man, it has got to be written by the biggest genius that ever wrote a book, ever. And this is why. There's a lot of things in there in the Bible that say, like, the sword is the word, right? And there's meanings also. You can take other meanings out of that, and they're all still meanings that are still provable in the Bible. Like here, let me give you an example. It says the Lord is my strength, but it also says in my strength, my weakness is manifest. So, meaning when you're at your weakest level, in lowest part in life, that's when you'll find Jesus. That's true. So even the meanings you take out of those meanings still have meaning that is not contradicting anything else in the Bible. Like it says, God is love. So every time it describes love in the Bible, it's describing God. And also every time in the Bible, when it talks about God, it's talking about love. It says Jesus is the husband, the church is the wife. It says this is that a lot in the Bible. And like it says, the fire is the wrath of God. So when it talks about being in the fire, or going through the fire, or approaching the fire, something being on fire, it's talking about wrath also. There's a lot of stuff in there like that. The word is spirit. Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. So when it talks about Jesus, it's also talking about truth. When it talks about truth, it's talking about Jesus. It's weird. But yet all the meanings you could possibly take out of that are still not contradicting other actual stories in the Bible, which is just beyond weird. Maybe it was an alien that wrote it, a UFO. Because I'll tell you what, it's either that or super genius or the Spirit of God. Move these men, just like the Bible says. They were moved by the Spirit of God to write these things in the Bible. All right? I think, I like having discussions like this, open-minded discussions about God, about the Bible, but I like having these discussions with people who actually have an open mind and have actually read the Bible. Because it's easy to say, the Bible's just words. It's words in a book. It's written by man, by someone that's never read it. But when you read it, and you've read it over and over, even Ronald Reagan, he says the only book that's ever been a challenge to him. And I was like, that's interesting. He said every time you read it, it's like you get a different meaning out of it. And that's because so many things in there are saying there are other things. But yet all those meanings are still meaningful, And I don't know. They actually did this. I like this. There's many books in the Bible. I can't throw out a number right off the top of my head like some people. There's a lot of different books in the Bible, and they're all written by different people in the Bible. But they have this computer program that can actually, you can put a book through there, and it can tell you, how many people wrote the book by the way they write, the way they phrase things, and the way they use words, and the kinds of words they use, and things like that. It can tell you how many people wrote in a book, whether it has one author or two authors, or some books have several. And it actually, they ran the Bible through it. It says one author. That's weird. To me, that's weird, because I know that it was written through a span of time by different people, but yet it all sounds like it was written by one author. Now, if one guy did write the whole Bible, he was the smartest man who has ever lived and has probably ever will live. And he has definitely done an amazing job at fooling everybody, because there's a lot of people who read that book and it just does something to their mind. It's like a computer. Like your brain's like a computer, and we download information, and it's like as soon as you download that Bible, you read it, you become convinced that there is something otherworldly going on with that book. You feel a spirit when you read it. And I've noticed you feel a different spirit every time you read a different book. I feel like when Like I wrote a book, The Razor's Edge, Strength and Unity, book 1, and I feel like whenever I go back and read that book, that I'm feeling the spirit of how I felt when I wrote it. You know, it's like you can feel the spirit of, like you get in sync with the person writing the book whenever you read it. You know, so I think every book, you know, when you get into it puts you in the vibrational state of the person that's writing the book. So you're feeling their spirit in a sense. You know, you're on their level. So that's really cool, you know. But the Bible is definitely an amazing book, and it just has this ability to have where some people understand it very easily and other people don't understand it at all. Even though it's in plain English, using plain words, it's like they can't make sense of it, which blows my mind. I mean, it's talking about spiritual book, talking about spiritual things. It's not hard to understand. Some of it's poetry, some of it's wisdom, some of it's, you know, like Proverbs, some of it's history, some of it is just like stories with a moral, you know, like it's the moral of the story kind of thing. A lot of it is it's all insightful, you know. I would say, someone actually told me this. They said, you know what, even if you had no faith in God whatsoever, the Bible is still the most insightful book you could ever read, that could give you a lot of information and a glimpse into the psychology of humanity, you know, because you got to think, you know, if let's say, and I'm not sure how many people are Christians, but let's say out of 7 billion people, 1 billion people were Christians. Well, that would give you access into the minds of 1 billion people, of the way they think, their psychology, the way they, not everything about them, but it would give you a way to connect to somebody in a way that you couldn't connect before. You know, like I got this from the fact that my grandma, she was a super strong Christian woman, read the Bible, we talked about it, didn't have anything else in common, nothing else to talk about ever, but when we went over there, she started talking about the Bible. I understood what she was talking about, and I was able to interact with her very easily, and she enjoyed having me around and talking to me because of that. Especially at my age, it inspired her to know that someone that was younger, which I'm not as young now, but someone that was younger was able to read and comprehend and understand the Bible in a way that she even learned things from me. I learned things from her. We bounced off of each other like a conversation should be. But all I'm saying is, for anyone that's never read it, even if you don't believe in God, which I find that really hard to believe, that no one would even believe in God in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, you know, to each his own, whatever works for you. But it's still a good book. It's still a good book to read. It's good literature. You know, I think, you know, out of other books I've read, my book, the most unperfect book you would ever read. It has, I've misspelled words, and you know, I had the sticky keyboard, you know, and spilling soda and drinks. Not what you're thinking. But anyways, you know, I'd proofread it, and still did not catch all the mistakes. I don't understand. One of these days, my hope is to have somebody else rewrite the book and do it in a really professional way, because I don't have time to do any of that. Anyway, off the subject, you know, write, you know, make videos, put on YouTube, you know, there's all kinds of ways we can influence each other and change the world, as long as it's for the better. What's it hurt? You know, I think anyone that says they're a Christian and is evil and hateful and spiteful and mean and rude and nasty, listen, you're not a Christian. Stop telling people you are, because you're making real Christians look bad. The people actually out there giving and helping and doing the kind of things that Christians are supposed to do, and you're not even doing that. You're out making them look bad. And let me tell you a little secret: you're working for the devil. All right, so just give up, you know, or get in or get out. Don't be on that fence and just be like, yeah, I'm a Christian, and do absolutely nothing to, you know, you're supposed to be an ambassador to God. What people think of you, they think of God. If you're a mean, nasty, hateful, spiteful, vengeful person, they're going to think that's what God's like, and you're actually not doing God any favors. So all I'm saying is maybe you need to get into the Bible yourself, you know. You need to read it, learn about it, and at least, I believe all Christians. If you're a Christian, great, wonderful. Read the Bible, learn what it is that you're supposed to be, and be that. Don't be lying and being fake and pretending to be something you're not, and saying, don't say anything that you are, and not really be that thing. It's not a club that you just say you're a part of. There's real work that goes into this. Some people have been doing this all their life. Some people who are Christians, there's people that won't even say they're a Christian. They go, I'm a believer. They're like, Christian means Christ-like. I'm like, well, you're supposed to be like Christ. You're supposed to be a son of God. It says in the Bible that Jesus was the first of many brethren. There's many sons and daughters of God, and you're supposed to be just like Jesus. So you are supposed to be Christ-like. And if by saying you're a believer, I think that's making it is an excuse, so you don't feel like you have to be Christ-like. If what does it say? Even the demons believe and they tremble. So if you say you're a believer, well, good luck. All right, you guys have a good day.